everyone, Jenny with On Fire Fit, and welcome to another episode of High Heel Hallelujah. If you are feeling discouraged, doubtful, or derailed, I hope you will stick with me because I will be talking about how to overcome those feelings and to get back on the rails. But first, let's look at the shoes. Okay, here is the shoe of the day. This is Steve Madden. These are a pair from my husband, and I, of course, am going to have to tie this into my video. Every time I have tried to make a positive change in my life, I have had to cross over into an area that is new or different. You get my crisscross here. And when you travel a road that is new, maybe not something that you are familiar with, and also the road less traveled, you are going to run into problems. There's going to be things that you're going to cross into that are going to challenge you, but have no fear, because that is a part of what builds your muscle and develops what it is going to take to get through to the other side and into that positive change that is going to be embedded in you. So, of course, we had to tie the shoe into the theme of the day. So stick around. Let's get back to the subject at hand. So, whenever I have chosen to go on the road less traveled, I have met up with opposition, discouragement at times, doubt. Sometimes I feel like I've gotten derailed. And this morning I didn't necessarily feel that, but it was very interesting that I was looking for some direction, and I prayed, God, I need your direction for today. I want to know what it is that you have in mind for me. I think we all want to know more details about what we should be doing and what's going to give us the most contentment and fulfillment and get us excited. And so it was interesting that right away I was led to the book of Ecclesiastes. So that is going to be the basis of what I am going to incorporate into this video. So please stick around. I am going to tell you out of the book of Ecclesiastes how you can feel encouraged, hopeful, and feel like you can stay on the rails, not go off the rails, and fulfill whatever it is that you know you need to do. You may be in an area of your life where you feel that you need to change up your diet, or you need to have something that is improving in your relationships, or something with your work. Maybe you want to start a new business. Maybe you're trying to propel your business forward. Whatever it is, there are going to be times that we are going to meet opposition. And I'm going to tell you that it is easy to have a vision. It is easy to have a dream. It is not easy to do the work that it takes when you don't have the excitement from the very beginning. That is why there are very few that reach those high levels of success, because most people give up during the foundation times, during the times that they are building muscle, during the times that they're developing the skills that they need in order to be able to handle that success. So if you are feeling at any moment in time discouraged or doubtful or like you're derailed, just understand first of all that that is a part of this whole process. You are not going to just go into this always with the same level of motivation. And I've talked about that in other videos. You know, in the very beginning of something, we have a lot of neurochemicals that get us very excited. When those taper off, we naturally don't have the same level of drive. And that's when a lot of what I'm going to talk about is very important. There are 4 things that I'm going to talk about. I'm going to go over them real quickly, and then I'll go a little more into depth. The first is to choose wisdom, choose God's wisdom. This is one of the most critical areas for me in how I feel encouraged, how I get my hope renewed, and how I feel like I get back on track, get back on the rails. When I choose God's wisdom, not just any wisdom, but what God has laid out for me, that is one of the most important things for my life. Choose to finish what you started, choose excellence, and expect the harvest. So those are 4 things I want you to think about. First is to choose wisdom. I'm going to actually read from the Bible. This is where God had me all throughout this book this morning, and I thought this is perfect for my topic for today because I felt like this gave me direction, and I hope that it will for you too in whatever area you need it. So in Ecclesiastes chapter 10, it talks about how wisdom alone can't bring what we need, but that we need to choose God's wisdom. And with the very little that we have, really in comparison to his wisdom, the very little that we have, it becomes all that we could ever hope or need when it's God's wisdom and we're following that. Choosing God's wisdom means reading in the Bible, following what he tells us to do, obeying him. It says that if we obey his commands, we are showing that we love him. And the thing is this is not a matter of salvation. We are loved by God no matter what. If we chose him as our Savior, we don't have to meet any kind of certain requirements. We just have to believe. You don't have to clean up your life in order to be saved. You don't have to have all your things perfect. But if you want to have more in this life, more contentment, more peace, more purpose, then you do have to follow his wisdom. And that is what we're talking about. So I want a distinction between going to heaven and bringing heaven to earth. Okay? So right now we're talking about bringing heaven to earth, choosing God's wisdom. Also, choose to finish what you started. This is one of the things that I mentioned at the beginning, but anybody can have a vision. Very few are willing to do the work. When you look at the mass amount of people that sign up to go to the gym, there are very few that actually have fit bodies and big muscles. It's the ones that continue to go and put in the work that develop those bodies, that develop that type of physique that they are looking for. When you are inconsistent or you don't finish what you started, well, those are the results that you're going to have. What does this require? In Ecclesiastes 6:8, it says, "What advantage has a wise man over a fool? What does a poor man gain by knowing how to conduct himself before others? Better what the eye sees than the roving of the appetite." Choose hard work, wise guidance, self-discipline, and patience. Let me say that again. So if you're going to finish what you started and you realize that that is a part of your purpose in this life, is even in these little details of getting disciplined and creating habits, that you're going to put in the work, just like the bodybuilder goes and works on his muscle. Get wise guidance, do it in the right way. Look for wisdom, look for understanding, seek people who are wise and learn from them. Use self-discipline, again, develop habits. We all have habits. Some of them are good and working for us, and others have not been working for us. Maybe we have mastered some habits that are not really helpful. That means you're good at mastering things. If you listen to Tony Robbins, I love how he puts a positive twist on everything. You have mastered the habit of gluttony or whatever. Now we're going to master the habit of putting in healthy food. Whatever the case is, you have the ability to do that because you have followed habits before. You're just changing your habits now. So self-discipline, and then patience, because patience means that you are trusting that as you plant the seeds, down the road there will be a harvest. Just because you don't see things growing right now in this minute, just because you don't see the muscle popping out after one day at the gym, does not mean that it's not going to happen. But you have to be patient and let the process happen. Choosing excellence is the third thing that will help you feel encouraged, hopeful, and get back on the rails. And how you do anything is how you do everything. I have made a video about that before. I have it on our little black chalkboard in our kitchen, and I talk about that with my kids. But when you develop an attitude and a habit of excellence, you will carry it into other areas of your life. So finish what you started, complete things to the end. Develop an attitude of excellence. You don't want to just get by, you want to be excellent. Because if you're choosing to go the road less traveled, guess what's going to happen? You're going to, you think about it this way. If you were going on a journey and everybody had worn down a path and they all go in one direction and there's a few that go on this other path, it is not quite as cleared out. There's probably more vines to trip you. There may be more animals that come out and scare you. There may be more things that you have to clear out of your way as you go down that path. But on the other end of it is what hardly anybody gets to see because they're not willing to go on that path less traveled. Everybody that goes in a direction of what the world tells them and being misdirected and not following what God has told them, but they are paying attention to what people are telling them, those people are going to get what most people get. But if you want to have something more, if you want to have something that is the adventurous life, I think we all want that, but are we willing to do what it takes to go down that less traveled path, to clear out those distractions and those things that come in to freak us out at the last minute or try to trip us? If we don't see those little things as just a deterrent to this beautiful life, then we will easily choose a different path and we won't get everything that we hoped for. So as you choose to go in this direction that might require a little more discipline, realize that doing it with excellence and being aware of the fact that those distractions and things are going to come, keep on doing the work, keep planting the seeds. In Ecclesiastes 9:10, it says, whatever your hand finds to do, do it with all your might. That's excellence. You put everything into it. Do what you need to do. If you need to learn new habits, if you need to learn new skills, start doing it. Get it going. Do it today. Don't wait for tomorrow. And then the fourth thing is to expect the harvest. We cannot wait for the perfect conditions to start. If we do, we will miss out on all the things that God can do. When we sow seed, we are creating habits, and those habits are what are going to propel us forward. Our lives are a series of habits, so just thinking about that as a sowing of seed, and that you know down the road you will get a harvest. We don't have to understand exactly how God is going to fulfill what it is that He is taking us down that path to see. We don't have to understand how we're going to get there, and we don't actually even have to see that clear vision. We just have to be willing to step into this adventure with Him, and we need to be willing to do the work and the discipline. In Ecclesiastes 11:5, okay, I'm gonna find it. It says, as you do not know the path of the wind or how the body is formed in a mother's womb, so you cannot understand the work of God, the maker of all things. Sow your seed in the morning, and at evening let your hands not be idle. For you do not know which will succeed, whether this or that, or whether both will do equally well. We don't have to understand necessarily how God's going to bring about the dream or vision or the change that we are trying to implement. But if we are willing to sow the seed, we understand that He already knows, and we are willing to do the work then we can expect a harvest, and He's going to make it better than we could have ever imagined. So, again, if you are feeling any kind of discouragement at any time, maybe you don't right now, but file this away in the back of your mind. The way that you can feel encouraged, hopeful, and back on track, get back on the rails, choose God's wisdom. Choose to finish what you started. Choose excellence and expect a harvest, because it will come if you are willing to do the work. So I hope that this helps you for today. Thank you so much for being with me today. And I hope that you are living your life on fire.
Sorry that this is a little bright. I actually had to reshoot this because somehow my camera was not running at the time. So I had to go back out, and then the light was different. So anyway, sorry it's a little bright. I hope that this is something that you enjoy, and I would love it if you subscribe and give me a like and comment, and I will see you all soon. Thanks.